local store. And you're on a very simple mission, one item. Maybe it's a gallon of milk or, just a tube of toothpaste. It's supposed to be an in-and-out 5-minute trip. So let me ask you, have you ever gone in planning to buy just that one thing?
But somehow, inexplicably, you walk out with a heavy bag full of products you absolutely never intended to buy. Yeah, we all have. It literally happens every single day to millions of people around the world. And when we finally get to the car, drop the bags in the trunk, and look at the receipt, most of us just assume that filling up that basket was entirely our own decision. But what if it wasn't?
What if every single shelf you walk past, every price tag, and every flashing red discount sign was deliberately designed to make you spend more? Because the truth is, companies spend billions studying one very simple question. How do we convince people to buy? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the hidden architecture of impulse. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to view your next shopping trip in a completely different light.
Part 1. The illusion of choice. Walking inside a supermarket might feel like a straightforward experience, but honestly, absolutely nothing in there is placed by random chance. Just take the entrance. What's the very first thing you see? Usually it's fresh fruits, vibrant vegetables, maybe some blooming flowers. Well, this is actually what's known as the comfort trap. Before you even grab a shopping cart, these items are placed there to create an immediate psychological feeling of freshness and quality. They subtly elevate your mood right off the bat. And it turns out, a relaxed, happy shopper is a shopper primed to spend money.
And from there, it builds into full-blown sensory manipulation. Think about it. You're walking down the aisle and suddenly you catch that irresistible smell of freshly baked bread. You probably think the bakery just pulled a fresh batch out of the oven, right? Well, often that scent is actually artificially released into the store. Crazy, right? But why? Because pleasant, comforting smells literally encourage you to slow down. The golden rule of retail is pretty simple. The longer you stay, the more you pay. They aren't just selling you bread. They're engineering a totally immersive environment designed specifically to increase your spending.
Part 2. The price illusion. Stepping out of the physical aisles for a second, let's talk about the sheer absurdity of human perception. Why does a product cost a glowing $9.99 instead of just a flat $10? The mathematical difference is a single solitary penny. Yet our brains simply do not process those two numbers as identical. We genuinely perceive $9.99 as meaningfully cheaper than a flat 10.
This little mathematical illusion actually has a name. It's called charm pricing, and it's one of the absolute oldest strategies in the entire retail playbook. Because we read from left to right, our brain immediately latches onto that first digit, the 9, and instantly categorizes the price as being in the $9 range rather than the $10 range. It's a psychological blind spot, and it completely tricks even the most informed shoppers among us, making us feel like we're scoring a massive bargain when, in reality, we're basically paying full price. But the illusions definitely don't stop at just the numbers. Think about all those flashing signs you constantly see. Limited time offer, only today, almost sold out. These messages are carefully engineered to manufacture a total false sense of urgency. Even if that specific product was absolutely nowhere on your original shopping list, those signs trigger a sudden wave of anxiety. As this idea perfectly captures, sometimes the sheer fear of missing out on a deal is actually stronger than your genuine desire to save money. This system literally uses your own psychology against you.
Part 3. The digital snare.
Of course, none of this is just happening in physical stores anymore. Welcome to the modern digital shopping machine. While a physical supermarket can only track you inside their building, the digital world tracks you everywhere. Websites remember the exact items you lingered on. Shopping apps log your highly specific searches. Ads will literally follow you across completely unrelated sites. Now, this extreme personalization can definitely feel convenient, but make no mistake, its ultimate goal is to strike at the exact moment your willpower is at its lowest, making impulse buying completely, totally frictionless.
Which brings us perfectly to the most common digital snare of them all, the free shipping trap. We've all been there. Imagine you're checking out online. Your cart totals $45, but suddenly an alert flashes across the screen. Free shipping on orders over $50. So what do? We immediately go and add a $15 item we absolutely don't need, purely just to avoid a $5 shipping fee. These small incentives totally warp our logic, manipulating us into spending considerably more money just to save a tiny bit.
Part 4. The invisible drain. This right here is perhaps the quietest, most pervasive trap in the entire modern economy. $5. By itself, it feels incredibly insignificant, right? It's literally the price of a cup of coffee, When you sign up for a new service that costs just $5 a month, your brain barely even registers it as a financial commitment.
Or maybe it's $10 or $15. Because these payments are completely automated, the actual act of spending feels totally invisible. You aren't physically handing over cash or swiping a credit card. The money simply vanishes from your account while you sleep. And the danger is, invisible spending is almost always forgotten spending.
When you actually sit down and map out these monthly impacts, it's shocking how fast it all accumulates. Those extra streaming services, they quietly snowball. Upgraded cloud storage? Easily forgotten. And that specialized fitness app you swore you'd start using next Monday? That alone is draining hundreds of dollars a year. Individually, yeah, they're tiny drops in a bucket, but together, they create a massive automated financial loss that companies actively rely on you forgetting about.
Part 5. Outsmarting the system.
Okay, here's the really good news. You do not have to be a victim of these tactics. You simply need to break the spell, and you do that by becoming hyper-aware. First things first, just pause and ask yourself, do I genuinely need this, or was I just persuaded by a clever store layout or a flashing ad? Always anchor your intentions with a written shopping list. Try implementing a strict 24-hour waiting period for any expensive items to completely kill that manufactured sense of urgency. Make it a habit to regularly check and cancel those invisible subscriptions. And always compare prices objectively, completely ignoring the psychological charm of a 99-cent ending. Your awareness really is your ultimate shield here.
Look, companies are always going to try to sell to you. That is simply their business model. But your responsibility is deciding exactly where your hard-earned money actually goes. Every single purchase you make is a deliberate decision. The more aware you become of this architecture of impulse, the more power and control you gain back. Because wealth isn't only built by earning more money, it's also built by spending it wisely. So what are you going to do differently the next time you walk into a store for just one thing?